On the line is Hayden King, brought to us by Snooze Betting, Cannington and Coburn on Fridays, where he has the King's Question. That'll be back this week for one final time for that $100 voucher, but he joins us for the penultimate time this afternoon. Hayden, good afternoon.
Hey, Seb. Hey, Marty. I feel like John Hunt when he did his final race broadcast and he said, they head into the back straight for the final time, and I do mean final.
You're up and about. This is what we want for the King. We need you to lift.
Looking forward to Friday night, Kingy. We've got a big night ahead with the Group 2 time-honoured James Brennan Memorial.
100,000 big bucks on the table for this Friday's contest. Again, Mr. Smarty draws to the advantage of Minstrel, Never Ending and Co. And that Co now includes Magnificent Storm. So can he rebound into winning ways? He's only won the one race from 6 starts this preparation, Mr. Smarty. He'll be pressing up, looking for a position. There could be a little bit happening underneath. Golden Lode's drawn the inside again. He wasn't able to lead last week. He'll be Bondi's there. He can do things wrong. Rolling Fire might want to get activated in those early stages. But Mr. Smarty, 2,500 metres could bring out the best of him now. And I'm sure that's what a lot of favourite backers are going to be banking on this week, because he's a $2.65 favourite, Never Ending, Minstrel, Magnificent Storm. They're all snapping at his heels. It wouldn't shock me to see that favouritism go one of the other way.
So at the moment, as you said, Mr. Smarty, 265, Minstrel, 280, in from 370, Magnificent Storm, 290, out to 440, back into 420, Never Ending at $8 and 220. More on this in a moment, but one off the Retrovision text line. G'day, boys. Can you ask Kingy his thoughts on Patriarch? The 2-year-old winner yesterday ran good time, didn't look to be stopping.
No, had the deafness still in as well, Patriarch, and most impressively at all, he's only 2 years old, so there could be further improvement. Of course, his sire, Lazarus, is a son of Bettor's Delight, and generally the Bettor's Delight progeny get better as they get older. I can't really think of many Lazarus progeny that have done a job. There's the Lazarus effect in New Zealand, it looks pretty useful, and Patriarch's just about the next best that I can think of. I owned one and he was okay, but the rest haven't really hit any great heights. So Patriarch could be a real flag bearer for Lazarus on the evidence of yesterday, because he did all that work and he powered away. There should be more improvement as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of level he can get to.
Well, let's concentrate on this James Brennan Memorial. It's a Group 2. As my great colleague here, Seb, said, it's a time-honoured event, 2,536 metres. But it's a showcase, and it's also a race that we can look into this race and see the Pacing Cup unfolding as well. And well, let's start with Magnificent Storm, how he was so magnificent last week. That draw, is that a negative or a positive?
You make a valid point, Marty, as well, that we get to see these paces so regularly. And it's a little bit of a mini Pacing Cup. But we've also been treated to these kind of contests in free-for-all ranks recently, which is something the Pacing Code has over the gallops. The gallop horses really only meet on the big days, whereas our harness horses, they seem to be able to come and butter up every week against each other. So we might be taking that for granted. We're getting such a good treat in these recent weeks, including this week. We better not take that for granted. Magnificent Storm drawn the inside of the second row. It's pretty awkward. It's not a good draw for him. He's hemmed away early. He's got to try to extricate at some stage, and I'd fancy that he'll be trying to do that as soon as possible to Campo. How far back does he have to go to get off? He might not have to go too far back, but that depends on what Hillview Bondi does in those early stages. The other thing to consider is Better Eclipse has drawn 11, and he'll be at pains to keep Magnificent Storm in on the inside, so he won't be helping his cause through those early 50, 100 metres or so. So that's something to consider. It's going to be very awkward. Last week, I reckon he was underdone, Magnificent Storm, and he still won by 10-plus metres. Just from the manner he shut off in those final 50, 100 metres, He was flying until that point, and then he just idled, did what he had to. I reckon there's way more to come from him, and they're going to have him peaking at the right time. He'll be better this week, but he'll be better for the Pacing Cup. And Minstrel, the next horse I'll touch on,
yes,
he was outstanding last start. He could not have been any better. I didn't give him much hope in the run. He shouldn't have been able to beat Mr. Smarty, but he did, and he did it with a sense of authority that invokes in me he's going as well as ever as a rising 9-year-old.
Yeah, I know he's been outstanding this campaign. So, again, the barrier draw there out in 8. What does that do to his chances?
Pretty similar to last start.
Yeah.
He's drawn out there in 8 as opposed to 9. Never Ending's a little bit different because he's drawn off the front row as opposed to the back. But I can't see him getting too involved. I guess Never Ending's fate is determined by Mr. Smarty, because if Mr. Smarty can get to the front, well, then Never Ending might want to go forward, and in the knowledge that he'll have Minstrel coming around. And then if he gets one by one, he could be dangerous, and then they'll have Magnificent Storm somewhere at the back. So that's the way Never Ending could win the race, and that last run was again better after that little lapse a couple of starts ago. The rest probably fighting for top 4 places, I'd expect.
Better Eclipse, $51 into $23. What do you make of the chances of Better Eclipse?
He just needs to find a little bit extra so far in WA. He's only had that one start. We didn't get a real guide. It's a wait-and-see job with him. We know on his best potential he could mix it with the top horses in this race, but we just don't know yet. So I'm prepared to risk him at my potential peril.
It's going to be a massive night at Gloucester Park Friday night with people coming to the course, free entry after you go to the cricket and come back. You know, what is there going to be, 60-odd thousand over there? Capture, 2%, 5% of them. Well, it's a big crowd coming in, so let's hope they do. They avail themselves to a great night's pacing. And I just want to go back to last Friday night. How was the night from your lens, Hayden, the Golden Nugget? To me, watching it at home, it was fantastic.
Yeah, well, the crowd was great. It was awesome to see that many people there. There were thousands on the grass down there. So if only we could have that every week, it would be a treat. And some of the pacing action, particularly early in the night, if that doesn't inspire people to come back to the trots, then I don't know what will. So it's unlikely we will get much turnover of the crowd coming back, say, this week, next month. But on the big nights, if they didn't have a joyous occasion, I'd be upset. And I reckon on the big nights we can expect them to come back.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But, okay, you take out from that Golden Nugget, the race itself?
Well, Wave Rider, a deserved winner. He had to make a long run. The critical psychological point was when he was able to wedge into the 3-wide train just ahead of Menemsha, and that could have turned the race around right there and then, but he fortunately got the spot, Jack Callaghan, and that won him the race. Just Call Me Mickey, as good as ever. He pounded home, and he only missed by a breath, so every chance that he could be the best horse to come out of the race. And then others, Alter Trivia, Better's Pride. Better's Pride threw the spanner in the works early and foiled Golden Load's chances. It was a really dreadful night for the Bond team in the sense of their luck. They had 3 flat tyres in 2 races, I think.
Really?
Golden Load was one of those that succumbed to that fate. You can't read too much into that. But Better's Pride, he gave him something to aim at, and he got his way into the top 4. It was a thrilling finish, I'm sure, which you observed from home, Marty.
And the Dainty's daughter, of course, Penny Black and Artie by the Seaside, these 2 top fillies going at it.
Artie by the Seaside was massive in defeat because she was half involved in that early battle, and it was one of those lead times. So they went 34 seconds on the night. They were going bonkers in a couple of races. And after 100 metres or so, 200 metres, there was only one horse you wanted to be on, and that was Penny Black. And she was an expected winner from that point. She came away, did what she had to. She's won both the golden ticket races for the Mayor's Classic. So we'll have another that goes in this week, whoever wins this Friday's Mayor's race, the preview to the Mayor's Classic. But Penny's had a mortgage on them so far. Artie can certainly turn the tables in the coming weeks, and that's not totally ruling out the rest. I thought Little Darling was a very good run as well. She goes around this Friday, and she might not win this week, but she can still win the Mayor's Classic.
One off the Retrovision text line, 0427 789 571. It's from Mark. He says, if anyone can get Magnificent Storm off the canvas Friday night, it's Aiden de Campo.
Oh, there you go. No one driving better. Well, and the old... Could he be a three-back the pegs de Campo drive, could it?
I don't think so.
No?
They'll be calling him the dentist if he can extract from there.
What about later on in the card? Race 10, I'm seeing I'm Category 5 go around at $1.12. Very impressive filly, 2-year-old.
Yeah, okay. I haven't looked at those markets yet, but she was just too good for them last time. She did a little bit wrong. I don't think she's fully wound up, but she was still a class apart from them. Sherika got pretty close to her in the end. She goes out to gate number 3 here, which makes it a bit harder for her. But otherwise, it's a pretty similar lineup, like Viva Lost Wages, Reoppose. There's a couple of newcomers to the assignment, but they'll still have to do a bit to reverse that result. Insurgency now switches to Deborah Lewis's care, Shane Young, the previous trainer. So it's the only one within shouting distance in the betting. So interesting to see how Insurgency goes, but still has the job ahead to make up the lengths on Category 5.
Hey, Hayden, you mentioned Just Call Me Mickey. It goes around in race number 4 with Denny Roberts driving for the Bonds.
Yep, and he's drawn wide, but critically he draws inside of Lavrajo and Gee He's a Sport. And Denny Roberts gives a lead by driving Just Call Me Mickey as well in favour of Gee He's a Sport, who's the better credentialed of the two. There's still a little bit to unfold underneath Just Call Me Mickey through those early stages. 1 through 6 can all play significant roles to some extent in terms of the map at least. But Just Call Me Mickey, he'll be in this up to his ears, and providing he is able to retain that advantage over Lavrajo, Gee He's a Sport, he's probably the one to beat.
What about the Mayor's Classic Prelude, race number 7? What are you thinking here, this favourite?
Yeah, well, I just touched on the fact that we won't get to see Penny Black this time. Interesting to see what happens early with Sweet Vivian, Heavenly Gypsy. Now, Sweet Vivian didn't get too active in those early stages last week. Heavenly Gypsy was involved in a very fast lead time, and she ultimately deteriorated back through the field. And I don't think she's going as well as she can at the moment, Heavenly Gypsy. She's not going in the same form we saw when she first arrived in WA, and she beat Magnificent Storm. So she needs to return to that kind of effort to be any chance in this upcoming Mayor's Classic. Tactically, I'm not sure if they press the button again or they try something new, because she is pretty fast, and maybe if they try a different tactical approach this week, it could give them something to work with if it works favourably for 7 days' time.
So we confirmed it with the Mayor of Rockingham, Lorna Buchan, that you will be doing post-race interviews on Sunday, just in the board shorts with that extended microphone sticking up so that you can get the microphone up, underneath the jockey's lips as they're coming back.
I was thinking more Speedo's approach.
Well, whatever. Yeah, but she just wanted the shirt off. That's all. So apparently it's done. They've signed off on it, and it's going to just add another layer to the day out there on Sunday.
Well, as long as that's the only layer, then we're okay.
Be careful. We'll do it again on Friday. The snooze, the King's Question, of course, for snooze, and they've brought you here today, snooze. Lane and all the team out there at Coburn and also at Cannington. Great to chat, and we'll do it again on Friday.
Okay, see you then, guys.
He's from the West. That's him, Hayden King.